everybody, and welcome to another video of R&R Partners. My name is Ruxandra. I am a lawyer, member of the Bucharest Bar Association. I am also managing partner of R&R Partners law firm, and I teach commercial law seminars at the Faculty of Law here in Bucharest. But enough about me, let's jump to the topic of today, which is shareholder versus director in a Romanian company. We will find out what is a shareholder, what is a company director or administrator, we also call them CEOs, what do they do in short, and how can we choose which of these functions do we want to have, which attributions we should have. So, firstly, who is a shareholder? Basically, the shareholder, and we will speak here mainly regarding the Romanian LLC, also called SRL, which is a limited liability company. We will try not to mention in this video anything about the PFA, which is a type of authorized person, a sole entrepreneurship, and I'll also try to leave somewhere here in a card the link to our video where we discuss the differences between the PFA and the SRL. And also we will not talk about the SA, which is a joint stock company, another type of Romanian company, which is usually for bigger enterprises or when you want to get on the stock exchange. So here we will refer mainly to the most popular type of Romanian company, the one that we usually offer to open for our clients, which is basically the Romanian LLC, an SRL, which is great for sole entrepreneurs at the beginning of their entrepreneurship journey, or even people who want to get associates in their company, because yes, it is possible. So the shareholders are the ones who actually hold the shares in the company as share capital. And from that share capital, we will decide how much would go to each of the shareholders. For example, if you open a company all by yourself, you could be the sole shareholder, or if you open your company with, I don't know, your spouse or another associate, a friend, you could be 50-50 in the company, or 30 and the 40% remaining shares, or whatever percentage you like. So opening a Romanian company does not demand an initial minimum investment. So what happens to the shareholders? Depending on how well the company does, because the shareholders are basically the investment people in the company, they are the investors, right? The ones who put money inside the company, the ones who take the risks, but also who will get the profit at the end of the day. How does it work? Shareholders can basically get the profit from the company in the form of dividends. This can be done once at the end of the fiscal year or each 3 months. In this sense, you as a shareholder can talk to your accountant and kindly ask them to finish the financial situation of the company so you can get your profit out of your Romanian LLC. For example, you are working in the IT sector, you're a consultant, but you also need money to live, right? You came to Romania, you opened a Romanian company, but you also need to pay for personal expenses like your own groceries, you need to pay for rent, you need to pay for utilities. Basically, you also need to live. So you want to take money out of your company, and if you are a shareholder, then you can take the money that I just explained, the profit, in the form of dividends. And speaking of dividends, you should be aware that the dividend tax in Romania, right now when I'm filming this video, it is 10%. It used to be 8%. I'll also try to link somewhere here in a card our video regarding taxes in Romania. Because to be honest, they do change sometimes, and even this year in 2025, we have a lot of changes in our tax system. But let's go back to shareholders versus administrators. So I mentioned what a shareholder is, and also what do they do? They actually take the biggest decisions in the company. For example, you might have 3 company shareholders, only one of them or another person is the company director. Normally, if you take a big decision like changing the name of the company or the place where the company is located, the headquarters, that decision will be taken by the shareholders, who will take this kind of decision after a shareholders meeting. And your lawyer will help you draft the minutes of this meeting and the decision so you can submit it to the Romanian Trade Registry and make the company corporate changes or whatever change you want in the company. Speaking of which, I will also try to link somewhere here in a card our other video regarding changes in your Romanian company. Because yes, a company must not exist in the same way from the moment that you have opened it. and up until the moment of dissolution or whatever you want to do with it. You can make many changes, you can sell your shares, you can change your object of activity, whatever you want basically. But now, what is the director of the company or the administrator? You will find this type of person, to say so, mentioned in many ways, either in our videos or other resources online, even articles, because the Romanian term is for the shareholder acționar, so basically the associate in the company, and for the company director, we have the Romanian term administrator. It sounds like administrator, but usually in other countries, English-speaking countries, you will not find the term administrator. You will find like the director, the CEO. It might sound silly. How can you have a CEO in your limited liability company, which maybe is opened just for you? But yes, that is correct. In the bylaws of your company, the articles of association, even if you own the company by yourself, you will need to mention that you have this double role, both of the shareholder with 100% shares and company director. Why? Because they do different things. Theoretically speaking, you could be just the shareholder and another person could be the one who takes decisions in your company with the signature of the director. For example, if you want to open a company bank account, not all the shareholders must go to the bank and open that bank account. You could simply get the director of the company because he is the one or she is the one who represents the entity. They can go to this brick and mortar bank and have the papers signed on behalf of the company. So as the name entails, the administrator of the director administrates the company, if I can put it like that. Besides opening bank accounts, he can do basically anything else. He can sign contracts on behalf of the company. He could represent the company in meetings, whatever you can think of. Speaking of which, I know that in these types of videos we try to include as much useful information as possible, but if you do have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comment section, because if you watched any of our other videos, you know that we do try to answer all of your questions below so that everything is very clear. Now, going back to the shareholder versus the director, where do we find these names and these attributions? And maybe you heard that I mentioned the bylaws of the company or the articles of association. We as lawyers help the client when they want to open a Romanian company to draft these documents. And they are also very useful because this document, which is called Act Constitutiv in Romanian, also mentions other things like the name of the company, the activities that you can perform in the company. The bylaws are registered with the Romanian Trade Registry or the company's house, and that's where, if you need at some point, you can also get what we call certificat constatator, which is basically an ascertaining certificate. That document is very useful because it shows who the company shareholders are, who is the director, what can you do in the company, where are its headquarters. And that document, certificat constatator, can be used in many ways. For example, going back to the bank to open bank accounts, either with a brick and mortar bank or in some online bank accounts with Revolut, Wise, whatever you want. You also use it if you go to a public notary to purchase a house in the name of your company, or if you want to secure a loan with the bank, basically any type of case where you need to show who the company has as associates, who takes decisions legally in the company. And another very important difference between the shareholder and the company director, usually the shareholder bears the financial risk for the company. For example, remember I told you can get yourself dividends from the company, so pay yourself. Well, if the company does not perform well, you don't have any profit, for example, you cannot pay yourself dividends. You cannot take money out of the company. Why? Because it did not go so well and you will not have the funds to pay yourself. While on the other hand, the director of the company can also have a wage which is fixed, and you can pay yourself irrespective of how well the company is going, because why not? Things can pick up later. But while the shareholders has the financial risks for the company, on the other hand, the director or the CEO takes the risks for their own signature, because as I said many times, they are the ones who signs paper on behalf of the company. And because this difference is so important, usually when we help clients to open their own companies, we also send them a short client intake form asking them Who will they put down as shareholder, as director, the number of shares that they want to be included, the percentages. For example, if you open the company with another person, will it be 50-50, 70-30? What percentage would you like? And as I mentioned, opening the company, because this is a task that we have helped many clients with over the years. I'll also drop here the link if you ever want to get a legal consultation with us. It can be a video call or an in-person meeting at our office here in Bucharest in Victoria Square. And we can help you with opening a company, also dissolving a company if you need so, making changes in that enterprise, and so on. And for any of that, you can also email us at office@rrpb.ro if you need more details on the procedure or if you need a quote for our services. And speaking of our services, at R&R Partners, we not only do commercial law, but we also handle immigration law cases. And here I want to mention something very important. Sometimes people come to us and say, hey, I want to open a Romanian company and I want to get residency based on that company. And besides the fact that it can sometimes be tricky, for example, if you are a non-EU citizen, you must have quite a big investment or you must abide with many conditions and regulations if you really want residency based on the Romanian enterprise. There are 3 countries who do not need a special initial investment. Those are the US, Canada, and Japan. I will try to leave somewhere here a card linking to our video where we explain this matter a bit more. But going back to what I mentioned, if you want to open a Romanian company and you also want to come here and work for that company if you are non-EU, the most important thing will be who the director of the company is, not who the shareholder is. For example, if you have a Romanian spouse, sometimes they can be the shareholder, they can hold 100% of the shares, even less. But in all cases, if you are the non-EU citizen aiming to come here in Romania, you will need to be the director of that entity. That is about it for today regarding shareholders and directors in Romanian companies. Don't forget to follow us on social media. We are very active on Instagram, YouTube, here of course. We also have a TikTok channel and a LinkedIn channel. So make sure to check them out. And up until next time, have a lovely day. Bye bye.